let's also talk about something else that's gone a long way, and that's this story about Sting and his last match. And of course, it's not called Sting's last match, but it is Revolution, and it's going down Sunday, March 3rd. So as you and I are talking, we're about a month away. There's a handful of tickets still available at AEWTIX.com. If I was a betting man with production kills, they could probably sell a few more. I mean, the way they're, I don't know that you know this, but I actually looked this up last week, Jeff. There's been a lot of talk about the importance of the Greensboro Coliseum to Sting's career, especially with Ric Flair at that very first Clash of the Champions. They've already sold nearly 3 times the amount of tickets as the folks who were at that match in 1988. Not only that, there's as many folks at this show as there was at Starrcade 83, 84, 85. This is a big deal. It's actual wrestling history, and that word gets thrown around a lot in wrestling. But Sting is a legendary performer, and I don't know that there'll ever be another Sting. I'd be willing to bet there's not going to be, and this could be your last chance to see him live. So by all means, do everything you can to get there. AEWTIX.com. I'm actually going to be at Sting's last television appearance as an active wrestler. He's going to be right down the road from me here in Huntsville at the Von Braun Civic Center. Those tickets are on sale now. You can still get great seats. And this is real wrestling history. AEWTIX.com. You want to say you were there because this is unusual. AEW is not only going to do Dynamite there, but Collision as well. So we're going to do a lot of, I assume we'd see a lot of storytelling on these Go Home Dynamites and Go Home Collision for Sting. I don't want to miss it. You don't either. AEWTIX.com. I'll see you there. And if you see me there, come say hey and let's chat about wrestling. Chat me up about what you expect.
Connie.
Yes, sir.
You just called it the Von Braun.
That's what we still call it. I know it's Probst Arena. Everybody
fine.
calls it the VBC or the Von.
I still call it the Von Braun, but it's Probst. He's a good man. Met him.
Excellent. Nobody in this community respectfully calls it that. I know Bill Probst, he's a great guy, but I'm just saying in this community, I mean, it's kind of like you and I still say Twitter. I mean, you may say X, but it is what it is.
Oh, it's yeah. Well, I mean, Bridgestone Arena downtown used to be the Sommet Center, and just the chain. Yeah, it's the naming rights of the building ebb and flow through the years, but I'm sure Probst is on the ticket header. But yeah, I call it the Von Braun, and it's that's my own vernacular. It's the Von Braun Center. I've always called it the Von Braun, like Mongo used to call it the WCW.
Yes.
Like, no, it's WC. No, it's not the, but he called it the WCW on Nitro.
Well, we got to talk about Sting because I'm excited about what's happening tomorrow. As I understand it, tomorrow, Sting is going to be challenging for his first piece of AEW gold. He'll be teaming with Darby Allin to take on Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the tag titles. And I discussed this a little bit with Eric, and I'm not asking for spoilers. I know you're office, you're a stooge now. I get that. but I'm just saying.
But I ain't in creative, thank the Lord.
I think there's only one person in creative, and he's not here. The minute I saw Ric Flair was back and he was riding shotgun with Sting through all this, I crossed my fingers and said, boy, I hope he turns on Sting one last time. I know you're laughing at that, but like we would run out of fingers and toes for the number of times that Ric Flair has turned on Sting. And if this really is going to be the end for Sting, and realistically, this is probably the end of Ric Flair as a television character, he should be a heel.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I think it would be interesting if all of a sudden you saw maybe Ric Flair cost Sting and Darby Allin the tag titles, and maybe he's on the Young Bucks side, or I don't know. I just love the idea of seeing Ric Flair do a nut shot one more time on Sting. That story is so old and so classic. I don't want to see them be friends. I want to see them be rivals. That's I don't know.
Lawler Dundee, Dusty Flair. There's a number of heels with Fritz in Texas. There's a number of folks in Florida with Dusty that you could plug and play. The rivalry is much stronger. You know, I saw a clip recently. Wow. If I got into this, right, I'd get emotional. But I'm a basketball junkie. And Larry Bird did an interview, and he literally said when Magic Johnson had to retire, the wind was taken out of his sails, and for all intents and purposes, Larry was done with the game, actively playing.
I believe that.
He didn't have the drive to get up and go shoot 500 shots because in his mind, that's what Magic's doing.
Yes.
He didn't have to run the laps. He didn't. So the innate. I love. Yeah, I mean, I'll still watch a Larry Bird highlight reel many times, but that it goes along with that. I think there's magic in rivalries that you just. Yeah, but Conrad, you said something. Let me go back. Did you say this is the first time Stinger's gone for AEW gold?
I think so. Because he's undefeated in AEW.
Okay.
So,
A simple term. Yes.
yeah. So if he's undefeated in AEW, and he hypothetically, if he suffered his first loss in AEW,
Because
and
of,
it was Ric Flair, I think, oh, that, and maybe the Young Bucks. I mean, and by the way, I'm a fan. I know that was a controversial thing online. It feels like shit. Everybody's got an opinion, but a friend of mine says creative is subjective. We're going to talk about some pretty controversial creative in a minute, but the idea that it's the Bucks, it's like, so a friend of mine said, not only are they going to have a great match and be able to do some fantastic stuff, uh, that would be helpful for Sting, but they're going to do some unbelievable stuff with Darby. But they also have that shared faith, and I didn't really think about that. The Young Bucks and Steve Borden in real life, these guys are, not secretive about their faith. And I think, man, if that's because the story we hear is Sting picked the Young Bucks. And again, we're not, that's rumor and innuendo. I don't know. But if that was the case, it's like not only can they put on a great match, not only can they do some really unbelievable stuff with Darby, I'm sure, but they all have that in common. I think that's pretty cool, Jeff.
Well, for sure. You know how I've always looked at it, and look, I have never ever discussed this with Sting or Darby, but you look at, we'll call it the veteran statuses that you look at talent, and hey, I'm going to put this guy over, I'm going to put that guy over, and put this guy over, and elevate talent here and elevate there. In a lot of ways, and my dad taught me this, and like his mindset was, because Fargo would come in, and look, you could plug and play lots of veterans. He's like, son, the people don't want to see Fargo lose. It ain't going to do anybody any good for the legend who can't move as fast and can't bump as quick and can't do this and can't do that. Let's not put them in a light by creative that even more of a downplay. But Sting, when you look on his AEW career, and God bless Darby Allin, but to me, over the last, has it been 3 years now? Sting came in, him and Darby obviously got a unique relationship. And Sting has, in a lot of ways, been riding shotgun with him and literally passing that Sting baton off in a way that's immeasurable for not just Darby, but I think the AEW brand. I think there's a lot of value in that, as a unique, iconic babyface. Yes, he's undefeated and everything that goes with that, but riding beside Darby and coming out on appearances, and lots of times Sting has come to the top of the ramp and Darby go to the ring and Sting go back to the back. People are like, oh, why is that? Well, it's rub after rub after rub. So
yes,
my hat's off to that. Now, as far as, and I don't know that story if they handpicked, but I think Sting would not want to go out in a single match, so he needed a tag. And if you ask me, the Bucks and the pivoting and their characters, all that, I think it's. I think in a lot of ways, the Revolution card, no disrespect to anybody, but it's Sting and others.
Yes.
Period. I mean, that's the tickets that were sold. Not one match announced, not one. So nobody can say, yeah. No, it's Sting and others. And so that's why I'm happy to kind of see the tag come down and how it's going to go and the episodic nature. And at Phoenix, are they going to win the tag titles? He hadn't lost. He literally has not lost since he's been here. So is it the time to slip on a banana peel? And is the Nature Boy, or is it somebody else that is going to be a part of that? Is it the Young Bucks that come down?
Right.
Might cause them to lose, which kind of adds gasoline on the fire. And then you flip the other side. Could the Young Bucks come down and actually help Sting and Darby? Anyway,
Wow.
it's, you know, there's 1,000 different ways to go. We're having a lot of chatter today, Dave Green, on fantasy booking here, but it's fun. It's truly the nature of our business.